Let's talk about how to solo duo. Today we are back with another community member gameplay review where I break down gameplay that was submitted by a member of the community. Today we're taking a look at someone who dropped 17 kills in a solo duo win. Now if you want your gameplay submitted, take a few seconds, check the comments and the description below for instructions on how you can submit your gameplay. Let's get into it. So as I mentioned, today we're taking a look at a 17 kill solo duos win by Twisted Tacos, who is a member of the community. Now, first things first, 1.10 lifetime KD and a 1.59 KD over the last 7 days. Just as your reminder, every time we do this video, 0.97 is the current average Rebirth KD. So he is above average, especially when it comes down to the last 7 days. He's been playing really well. Now, in terms of strengths, he says aim and movement, utilizing cover, and game sense. And then in terms of weaknesses, he says exposure, long distance tracking, and when I think about exposure, I'm thinking about, really putting himself out in the open in some bad situations, but we'll take a look at it. Mini-map awareness and quick decision-making. I'll be honest, some of his weaknesses after watching the gameplay already are actually some of his strengths. This is where I say some of you need to give yourself more credit. How he wants to improve, isolating fights, and finally breaking his PR of 24, and the question that he has for today is how can he keep this pace up? Let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay breakdown. So I did a video the other day on how to approach fights, and my biggest tips in terms of how to approach fights is going to be to play a little bit patient, try to get an early knock, at which point you get information about where the next players are, and you can figure out how you want to challenge. And we want to particularly pay attention to that in solo duos. Get a clean kill, find information, then go execute on that next piece of information. Now, what I'll tell you is that he has very good aim and movement. He uses his movement well, he definitely hits his shots, and he executes. So for him, it's a lot about pace of play and putting himself in more engagements. But we're going to go ahead and push up here. He's going to go ahead and push up. He hears one, not totally sure where exactly, and he's just kind of clearing. Now, he does feel very comfortable with floor loot. It's one of my biggest keys. He's not going to get loadout for quite some time here. I think he picks up 9 kills before he gets loadouts. But let's go ahead and take a look here. He knows one's up there. He's going to play a little bit patient. He's able to get that knock right there, and he doesn't oversell for the thirst. He's going to check this corner, see what he can find, doesn't really see anything, at which point he goes for the thirst now, and he gets information that one is on his level. So he's going to use that to his advantage to immediately go challenge. Notice how he utilizes his cover here. Really well, he utilizes his cover, puts a barrier between him and his enemy, at which point he can go ahead, and even though he doesn't hit shots, he still executes. He's able to get that kill, and that second kill is easy because he doesn't take any damage from the first one, right? He's able to get the first down and thirst. He doesn't take any damage. He gets the information after the thirst, at which point he can go ahead and challenge that second one. Bunch of people down below, so he's going to keep pushing here. Notice the pace of play. This is good pace of play. The one thing I will say, he dropped 17 in this game, I believe, and dropping a 20 bomb in duos is very difficult because just of how many teams there are. It's very hard to farm teams in duos. It's much easier because you're killing one person and then immediately leaving. But as I said, I do want to focus on a lot of solo duo situations. And we're going to be really paying attention to where he falls off during this end game. He's on a really good pace and then it just stops, which is actually something that he had a question about. Now he's going to go ahead and push roof. Why? Well, he got that kill earlier and he saw that there was one on rooftop, so he's going to go ahead and challenge up top here. He's going to see what he can find. Not totally sure. Notice how he's centering his crosshairs really well. It's something that I do want to highlight because he does it really, really well throughout this game, is centering where he thinks people are going to be. One thing that I want to talk about with this prison size that I talked about in my coaching program the other day, when we're taking a look at prison right here, okay? So I am always more inclined to push up this right side. Why? This left side is very open. There's not a lot of cover and you're very exposed for quite some time. Whereas on this right side, you have a lot of cover. You have a lot of ways that you can finesse. So whether it's, whether you're pushing up this way or pushing this way, it is a pretty tough push as opposed to this side right here. That makes sense. I'll add in colors on top to really show you. That'll make more sense once I actually post the video in YouTube. So we see one flying in. He's going to go ahead and push up. He's got $7,000, so not quite enough for Lodi just yet. And he's going to keep challenging. He feels good with the Owen gun. He's going to challenge right around the corner. He gets the easy down and thirst. Once again, does not oversell for the thirst here. And even though he doesn't hit shots, notice what I said earlier. Because he didn't take any damage on the first one, is able to immediately challenge that second person. Now, one thing I do want to mention, he is one of the better players in this lobby, but we still need to talk about solo duo execution. Even if you're the best player in a lobby and you're playing solo duos, you could get caught in a bad spot. Now, he notices that they're shooting down here, so he's going to go ahead and challenge, see what he can find. But think about mini-map dots, right? He hears shooting. He checks minimap. That means people are fighting, which means there's 2 teams. So he gets a team wipe, but he knows that there's still people down there. So he's going to go ahead and challenge around this corner. He gets it down. He gets the second down, and he actually gets both of those kills right there because he re-knocked the second person. He's got 9 kills with 7 other people, but notice there's only, technically speaking, there's 12 possible kills on the table if you were to kill every single person or farm. Now, he's able to grab loadout guns right here. The only thing I will say to be careful grabbing loadout guns is because you don't always know how they're built. So sometimes it's better to stick with, an Owen gun or stick with something that you have as opposed to risk really trying to basically grab a gun and you don't know what it is. And you don't know what the recoil is. You don't know if it's good or bad. You don't know what the range on it is. So be careful picking up other people's loadout guns. He's going to push up here, see what he can find. And he actually is doing a live commentary as well, which try it out sometime. Live commentate your gameplay in like solos or duos or something like that. It's interesting with how it helps you understand information and understand what's going on. He did mention that that person was using an unlock tool. Clearly, that's not the appropriate camo for that gun. So he's going to go in and challenge, just see what he can find. Got to be careful, although he is in a good spot. So what I mean by that is if he goes down, the only way that he actually dies here is from a precision airstrike, right? Unless they precision or cluster him, they're not going to be able to actually get that finish. So he's in an okay spot to be aggressive and challenge here. He's going to challenge again, playing the heady, and he's kind of, his enemy's playing a reverse heady. So it's kind of both ways. Now he gets headshots. That is the window that he needs to push in. That's going to buy him time to push in because that person's teammate either needs to revive or fight, one of those two. So he's going to go ahead and push in here. One thing I do want to mention, when you turn this corner, you should, I'm always inclined to have my AR out. Not this one. Not this corner. This corner right here. Because I'm anticipating people to be further back. So I would be more inclined to have the XM4 out there. He's able to hit down the first guy, down the second guy. Last down right there. Team wipe. 11 kills. And I want to talk about this next situation because he plays it perfectly. Real quick, if you are looking to get better Rebirth, just consider hitting that subscribe button down below. I'm a 4KD player. I do videos every single day just trying to help people improve at Rebirth, get more kills, die a little less, break your PR, whatever it may be. So if you are looking to get better, just consider hitting that subscribe button down below. And if you want to know when I'm posting and going live, make sure you turn on that notification bell. Now, he gets enemy UAV. Let's think about where enemy UAV could come from. It could come from here. It could come from here. Could maybe come from control, but let's clear this buy station first. Let's just see what's up here, especially because he just came from grandma's house not too long ago. So he's going to see what he can find. He sees one here, and he actually caught one down below. You can barely see him down below. You catch a quick glimpse of him right about there. You can't see him. I missed him again. So he slides across the screen. So he's going to go ahead and challenge this first guy. He hasn't taken any damage. Still plenty of bullets in the XM4. And this player comes flying around this corner. Really good play by that player. That player was out. He was ready, but at the end of the day, Twisted Tacos just anticipates that. He hits his shots. He does what he has to do. He's able to win that gunfight. And now he sees that the second enemy is ghosted over this way. So he's in a good spot to go challenge. You notice the common theme here is get that first kill. Then that second kill becomes easier based on that information. And that is the basis for starting to 1v3 and 1v4 as well. The only dynamic we're adding in is more of a reposition component because there's multiple enemies. So we're going to have to reposition and find ways to get them separated. But in duos, it's very easy to immediately go challenge that next player. So he's going to take a quick look here. Everybody's on the other side of the map. So got to be really careful about that and really start to push over there. Now, people could be ghosted, but you want to know that everybody's on that side and start to go push that way. Doesn't really have much information at this point. What you're going to notice is this game slows down and he goes from being very aggressive to starting to play a little bit more passive. Now, part of that's because it's solo duos, it's endgame. You're not totally sure where everybody is. You're not feeling confident. You're starting to get a little bit nervous about this could be a solo duos win. All those things play through your head and you start to slow down. But there are plenty of moments in this game, the rest of this game, that he could execute and end this game quicker. I mean, we got 3 teams left. It is second circle. Second circle hasn't even finished closing yet. So one over this way. Yep, I would definitely pull out the bow there. See if you could pull that. He almost gets the knock, but not quite. So let's go ahead and push up here. You know there's people at decon, and I would continue to play this aggressive. I would continue to push in, try to see what I can find. Yeah, I'm going to do exactly what he would do. I'm going to push up, but he ends up just not really ever pushing this, and I want to show you exactly what I mean. So he sees one over this way. He's going to end up mounting. Isn't able to get the kill. And that's okay. That's a pretty long range right there. That's not a kill. Even if he got the down, you probably can't get the thirst. Now he sees one over this way. And I'm not totally sure where he actually got shot from. I don't think the player that he shot before re-challenged, but he could have. Now he's going to go ahead. He's got good cover. He's in a good position to self-revive. So he's going to go ahead, self-revive, and then he's going to stim and push in to start, you know, taking advantage of the fire sale. Now, the one thing that I do want you to be careful of in this situation is if you push in, at the end of the day, you're pushing into a place that other people are also rotating to. So you got to be really careful about that. He's going to buy self. He's going to buy UAV. He's going to plate up, and now he's good to go. Now he sees two people over here. And I want to talk about this because this is the first time in this game that it did not go well in terms of his favor, in terms of him executing. He's going to push over. He takes a little bit too long to decide on where he wants to go. I'm immediately rotating over this way, and then I'll roll back to decon. So let's go push over this way. We'll take out this team who may try to third-party, decon, whatever it may be. He does two things. One, he gets a little over-eager. He doesn't have the best trigger discipline, and he's not able to get that first down. He also is pretty far out in the open, and he's not really hitting shots as well as he could be. Now he pulls back. He does have enough cover to get away, but he completely withdraws from this fight. He still has UAV up. He's still in a good spot. He actually completely withdraws from this fight, which is what I think a lot of you would do. I think a lot of you would pull as far back as you can, just completely remove yourself instead of still trying to basically just reposition. Now, let's answer this question. Where do I reposition to? Well, here's your answer. I would actually push back, and I'd play from about right here, because that still gives me cover, and I'm still in a good spot to challenge. I mean, they have to rotate out in the open. So I'm in a good position here to challenge this way, but at the end of the day, I still have a lot of cover. I'm still in a safe spot. And this ends up going on, you know, he's going to sit here for a little bit, and he's looking to see what he can find. You know, he's playing passive, right? Notice in the beginning, he had 9 kills before he got loadout. And that's unfortunate. I mean, that he's flying back in. I would say you got to hit those shots, but it is what it is. There's no harm there in missing those shots. Look, this is where I think he says that long-range accuracy isn't the best, and that's something it's tough to improve on. I'm doing a video on my best Rebirth warm-up tomorrow, I believe, and I'll specifically mention how do you get better at long-range accuracy, and the answer is you'll find out in the video tomorrow. So we got 4 other people still alive, basically 2v1. And he's going to pull all the way back. Now, he's going to keep going back. He knows one's over here somewhere. But at the end of the day, you know that most people are over in that decon area, in that courtyard, somewhere around there. And this game just kind of drags, like I said. He's not really playing. He's not making a move. Now, what is your move here? Let's ask that question. I'll tell you what. And he ends up mentioning this in a little bit, but where I would go is this big game bounty right here. Big game bounties are one of the most, I want to say broken, but they're not broken. They are just very advantageous because it tells you exactly where somebody is, and it tells you where the highest kill person is. So you want to know where that person is, and as soon as you get that kill, now you have information as to where everybody is. Everybody else, you are fully aware of where they are and where they're rotating to for quite some time. It's definitely longer than that 30 seconds, or at least it feels like it. So big game bounties to play here. Figure out where everybody is. He knows one's down there right now. Over to the left here, you can see it on the minimap, but he still has to get to a spot where he can challenge people. He's got self-revive, so he's in an okay spot to kind of challenge. He can't see this person. Yeah, that is a nasty heady. That's not even worth challenging, in my opinion. Just rotate out. I'm rotating kind of towards decon. I'm starting to push over to my right, trying to see what I can find. Because he's not in a position where he can challenge anybody right now. You see what I mean? Like, he's so far, he's away from the people in decon. He's away from that team at shore that he can't actually get to a spot to challenge those people. And even if he does, he can't get that thirst. So a little bit more confidence, and again, you can play based on audio cues. Now, when I say play based on audio cues, what I mean by that is that you need to hear audio and then anticipate in clear places. You can't rely on audio. Audio's not good enough right now. But what you can do is hear footsteps and start to clear and anticipate and center and be ready for that person so that if you do see them, you can actually execute on it, hit your shots, then you get that information again. The other thing I'll tell you is actually be ready to fight. I know it sounds stupid. Some of you are at the point where you anticipate well, and then you see somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, that person's actually there. Be ready to challenge people. Assume that people are there, and then if they're not, then you're in a good spot. Now, you get one team down here. You have all the information. You got one team to your left, and you got one team to your right, because they're obviously shooting at each other. There's definitely people floating around both of those areas, so you know where the last two teams are. Now, one team's in the truck here. It's super annoying on... It's very irritating on Rebirth to have those trucks. Remember when I said... you can't actually get downs if you fight at super long ranges sometimes? There's a great example of it, right? So he's a little bit too... Now, he's in a really good spot, and I'll tell you why in a second. Little one-shot down right there. That is the definition of a bullet. So if you communicate to your teammate that somebody's a bullet, it better look like that clip right there. He's in a good spot here. Let's talk endgame, right? Respawn disabled. Now we're focusing towards endgame. Two questions that you always have to ask. Where's your power position? And where is your cover? And notice right here, he actually does a good job of having both. Power position is here. He's got high ground. He can see down on everything. He's got plenty of cover, but he makes a fatal mistake. And the worst part about it is he even communicates it to himself. He live commentates, I've got to be careful for somebody to my right. He just never actually checks it. So I'm gonna wait.
Watch my right.
I just need to watch my right, and then he doesn't actually check his right. So now he's in a tough spot, gas mask animation. He's making a move. He does a good job making a move, but he's not really, he's low health. And that was a preventable situation if he just checked to the right side. Now what's going to end up happening is he's going to rotate back. He's going to buy plates. By the way, the move here, he's not going to buy plates. The move is to buy plates and a gas mask, right? So you should look at that buy station, go, I can get a gas mask first. I can get plates. I can plate up again. Now I still have high ground. I still have... I always say high ground. Power position is not always high ground. He still has power position. He still has cover. He's in a really good spot, and you're going to see how the rest of this game plays out. He's able to get the down right there. He's able to get... One guy's going to shoot to his right. He's going to shoot at him from here. But because Tacos has that power position, he's in a good spot to not have to worry about anything. This team has to rotate directly to him, so he's in a really good spot. I hope you found today's video helpful about how to solo duo. Submit your gameplay for the community member gameplay review. Let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.